This video is about exchange rate. What do you mean by exchange rate? Simply, would like to know what is the price of one currency in terms of another currency. So every time we talk about exchange rate, we talk about two currencies. And I'd like to know, if I'd like to buy one currency, how many units of my domestic currency I need to pay for it. For example, if I'd like to buy a euro, how many Australian dollars I need to pay for a euro. Therefore, sometimes students or any person figures that exchange rate is a little bit challenging for one reason, because it includes two currencies and we don't know which currency we are referring to. Therefore, this video is very important because it tells you which currency do we refer to. Therefore, every time we quote or we report exchange rate, we have two ways to report it, which we call it exchange rate quotation. The first one is a direct method, and with a direct method we give it symbol E. Another one is indirect method and we give it symbol S. Unfortunately, some textbooks for indirect quotation, they give it symbol E. And that's why I encourage you to look at the word, is this direct quotation or indirect quotation, when you have any formula or if you have any graph, because it makes a big difference between direct and indirect quotation. Also, in these videos, you'll discover that we will stick to these symbols, which means for direct quotation, we will always use E. For indirect quotation, we will always use S. So what do I mean by direct quotation? It means that I have domestic per foreign. So what do I mean by domestic per foreign? It means that I would like to know how many units of domestic currency is equivalent to 1 unit of foreign currency, which means I will make the foreign currency always 1, and I would like to know how many units of my domestic currency is equivalent to this 1 unit of foreign currency. With indirect quotation, it is the opposite. It's foreign currency per domestic currency, which means how many units of foreign currency is equivalent to 1 unit of domestic currency. So this means that always with a domestic currency, I will have 1 unit. And I'd like to see each foreign currency is equivalent to how many units of my 1 unit domestic currency. Let's get an example about direct quotation in Australia. So our domestic currency will be Australian dollar, our foreign currency will be euro. So we have 1.25 Australian dollar per 1 euro. So this means that if I'd like to get 1 euro, we need to pay 1.25 Australian dollar. So can I move from direct quotation to indirect quotation instead of domestic currency per foreign currency to foreign currency per domestic currency? Yes, very easy. Our indirect quotation is 1 divided by direct quotation. So S is 1 divided by E. So get here, 1 divided by 1.25. It will give you 0.8. So this means that we will have 0.8 euro per 1 Australian dollar. If I would like to get 1 Australian dollar, I need to pay 0.8 euro. Therefore, you could easily move between direct and indirect quotation. So can we do it vice versa? If I give you indirect quotation, can you convert it into direct quotation? Definitely yes. Get 1 over. So our direct quotation will be 1 over indirect quotation. E is 1 over S. So if I get here 1 divided by 0.8, it will give me 1.25 Australian dollar per euro. Therefore, you could easily move between direct to indirect quotation and vice versa from indirect to direct quotation, but you need to know which quotation do you have. So usually if you go to any American bank, they will use direct quotation or indirect quotation. They use direct quotation, and that's why the direct quotation is also called what? American quotation. If you go to UK, which type of quotation you'll find in their banks? They use indirect quotation, and that's why indirect quotation is also called what? British quotation. Therefore, I can use the word indirect quotation or British quotation. And remember that Australia is related to UK, therefore in Australia we have indirect quotation in our banks. If you go to Combank, St. George Bank, NAB Bank, you'll discover that they use indirect quotation.